Let me resync it.
Alright, I'm going live now. And we should be live, so I will...
No.
Wait, what? What are we waiting for?
How the hell does my... Yeah... Why does my computer go out of sync every so often? My god.
We are live, by the way. Alright, I'm putting on music now. And let's begin our stream. Hello everyone, today we will be discussing the new content that has released from the re-release event of the Afterschool Hero and the Fantastic Boyfriends. Joining us today is a brand new discussion partner. Why don't you introduce yourself, Milk?
Hello, everybody. I'm not sure what to say, but I'm here now.
Oh my god, exactly what we would say as well.
You'll fit right in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yes. Hi.
You know, I never realized how often I actually facepalm until, like, I'm here in the beginning of these streams or at the end of them. I swear to God. But yeah, Milk makes some fantastic videos. I'm sure there's a huge intersection between those who subscribe to my channel and those subscribe to Milk, so... but for those that are unaware, feel free to check it. He makes some pretty good content for both Housamo as well as Live a Hero. Also joining us today are the usual Irby.
Hello.
And Zalgus.
Hello. I already said I'm here.
Alright, so you can find their channels also in the description, and I've also attached a link to Milk's as well, if you are too lazy to type it down in YouTube search bar. With that said, I think we are dithering on a bit now, so let us jump right into the discussion. We will be talking about both the ARs and the skill-specific evolutions from the most recent volume, 18. And we will be beginning with the 3-star AR. If you will, Milk.
Okay, so this is the 3-star welfare AR for this event. So really it's a pretty simple AR. You get a nice, when appearing, nullify debuff, and there's a very stupid status advantage to Dark Lord of all things. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's pretty good for the farming for this event that I've encountered because the enemies have curse. I do think that it's a very outclassed AR in the sense that the Gabriel Maria AR is very similar to it.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
in terms of like a niche, it's really the when appearing timing or the fact that you can equip it on snipe units.
Yeah, there's a couple of ARs that already function with nullify debuff or reflect debuff. There's like a couple of ARs that substitute that, and every phase start instead.
I think the when appearing part can be potentially better in some scenarios, like for instance,
Yeah.
the one build challenge quest where he starts with the oppression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do a phase start, it wouldn't affect it. So when appearing is actually a good replacement for bringing Ryota or Volos.
Yeah, that's the example that I was thinking of too, but when I was thinking about it, that was like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, it never happened again.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
still relevant in terms of, maybe not super relevant this year, but even last year we received in Virtual Summer Memory, another time where we could use Ryota to bestow a nullify debuff for the Virtual Summer Memory Challenge quest with everyone can just inflict a darkness. So, you know, it's still a relevant thing to watch out for, and having more options is nice. Although the restrictions seem a bit interesting. Not sure if it would be super useful for magic or snipe units since they're not exactly board wipers.
Yeah. For snipe units, it's kind of weird. I can't really think of anybody who, like, outright benefits from nullify debuff that isn't in, like, you know, a general purpose sort of way. Actually, there's, like, 2 that already have nullify debuff, like Beachside, Cherno, and Surtr already have nullify debuff. So that was kind of interesting. Most of the time, though, you'll really just be running Gabriel Maria AR because the when appearing timing doesn't really happen too often. But if it happens, then it happens.
There's one good thing that this AR can do that I'm not sure if the other Gabriel Mirror AR can do, and that is be equipped on magic units, which also means you can equip it on Sonnet Kumara 5, who can then bestow Nullify debuff by
Yeah,
spreading
Gabriel Maria is magic.
Damn it.
It's the same.
No!
It's just added snipe.
Yeah. That's why I'm very, like, okay on this AR. I mean, it's certainly a nice effect to get, like, one Nullify debuff, but it's very overlapping with something that we already have.
Yeah, for this case, you'll mostly just consider this AR in those niche cases where the enemy inflicts a debuff on their appearance, so you'll want to preempt them with this one.
So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. And,
Also-
like, sure, you can use it.
Also, it's free.
Yeah.
So
For a free AR, it's pretty good, I think. I still think the best is that Death Gumao AR, that you can just remove debuffs,
Oh yeah, that
like
one.
on move.
Yeah, that's a pretty
But
good one,
this
but I
is
never actually used
pretty-
it.
But yeah, this is a pretty good one.
It's something.
For, like, 3-star welfare, I mean. Because, like, we started out with stuff like poison immunity. Yeah.
I mean, that would have been good for a virtual summer memory, but then they forgot to, like, make it count for stacking poison as well. We'll get back to
that
that
is very
again.
funny.
There's something similar that happened recently with one of these ARs. Was it ARs or was it? Well, I'm pretty sure it's one of the ARs, but yeah,
Yes,
we'll get to that. We'll get to it soon. Not quite yet. But anything you'd like to add to that, Salgus, who has been quite hiding in the corner?
I don't like to interrupt. I find it ironic that despite the advantage against the Dark Lords, the hero can't equip it.
I mean, he already has that advantage. I guess the idea is that everyone else now has advantage against it, so lore reasons.
Unfortunately, you can't test if this particular instance would stack, but I believe you already said that such things do not stack.
What things do not stack?
What things do not stack?
Advantages versus status or skill.
Those stack.
Oh, they do stack. Yeah, they do stack.
Whoever said they didn't stack?
I thought I was talking with you recently about something where something doesn't stack and takes precedence, or was that resistances?
It might have been about resistances, but either way.
I know they do stack because that's how Naja was able to one-shot Charm on that challenge quest last year.
Yeah,
well-
thankfully, checking numbers is fairly straightforward if you're willing to do the math. You can be very precise with confirming that the multiplier is 1.4 if you really did check, and stack them with other multipliers as a result too.
In that case, that makes it even more sad that hero can't equip it, because he could get another multiplier on top of it. Since he already has it, why not get more? Oh well.
Well, I think we talked enough about this free AR that is only okay and is very conditional for this. But it's nice to have for this event, just like Milk said. Curse really is annoying for this these drop quests, and also damage against the only ones who actually have Dark Lord in this quest is nice too.
Yeah, the enemies have Curse and also Tenacity defense up and protection, so...
God,
I do think the
Go
art for this is really good, though. I probably would have pulled for this if it was on, like, the AR banner, if I had, like, materials to pull. But yeah.
No, you need to save for Christmas. Not Christmas, anniversary.
I'm kind of annoyed, though, that this is, like, the Bacchus icon, but since it's, like, a welfare AR, you don't get the voice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. We didn't get Bacchus or Nekros voice in any of these ARs.
Bacchus died for this.
No,
That's
it's being saved for the second part, the second collaboration event.
all right. I think we talked enough about this okayish AR. So Milk, there are like 2 comments. You want to read them out? Well, one of them.
Okay.
Really.
Welcome, Milk Housamo. I know your videos. Good. Thank you.
Good is your answer. Very corn from Smash.
I agree.
All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, crap! I'm talking now. We now have the Andvari Surtr AR, which is the first AR we have ever received that is gives a status that gives a skill. So this sort of a paradigm has been was first released in the recent event Summer River Adventure, but the paradigm, the sub paradigm it's following is resistances, which is kind of the most basic kind of skill you can receive, which essentially gives the unit who gets burn resistance, in this case immunity to burn, just like any normal skill that confers resistance or immunity rather. The conditions for this is you have to move, and you will both heal and bestow burn resistance to the unit who moves as well as the unit directly in front. The rate is not super amazing at 50%, but you only need to activate it once for burn resistance. But yeah, it's kind of a shit rate for the heal, and the heal is really miserable too, so it's mostly a bonus, but I would not consider it for the heal though. So pretty much only bring this AR when you are thinking about countering either burn or conflagration, which would necessarily probably would be paired with burn as well. I think those are all my thoughts in terms of its direct functionality, but oh yeah, I guess bringing this in teams was if you still use Unfold the Sails T1.
I have something to add, is that if you use this on Sanat Kumara, you can get it across the entire team. If you have it on a triangle formation.
Oh yeah, that's pretty true. It's like doesn't it like ARs apply first? There's like a weird timing of it, so it's like
I've tested it, but yes, it is the ARs first, and then it is the.
It's a good find. So what Irby is saying right now is that on the same move that you apply burn resistance self, you can also then thereafter spread it to everyone beside you with Sanat Kumar.
Does that really work? Because
yes,
it's within the same timing.
I tested it. It does work.
Okay, so yeah, because I tried the Soul AR with Xmas Azure and that didn't work. So yeah, cool. Sure.
It's weird. That's weird.
Sanat relevance.
But yeah, it did work when I tested it. It was really neat. I was surprised. I think I even got a screenshot of it. You want to see later, but that's not relevant to the discussion right now.
Yeah, but this is besides that, just passing thoughts. This is probably Andvari's best art in terms of ARs lately. I've always been kind of about his art in ARs, but he looks pretty fine here.
Cute.
Mm-hmm. I guess that's it. I just need to say that.
Also, I just noticed that Surtr's boxes are falling out. Shameful.
Isn't that like every Housamo ever?
Probably. But I never noticed it on this AR in particular until now.
No, I can't.
I was surprised about how rare burn immunity was when I checked the page.
Well, it's not really a problem in general.
People were immune to burn.
Didn't you forget to talk about that burn resistance doesn't burns?
Yeah, there's that too.
What about burn resistance? Sorry.
Stackable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. This has been confirmed with Irby, so I can't personally test this, but I trust him enough to say that he's right when he says that this AR does not make you immune to stackable burn, which is, it's not relevant in every other case except for this event when there's a challenge quest that actually gives the only challenge quest ever that inflicts stackable burn. And of course, LifeWonders, being LifeWonders, decided to get every single skill that had burn advantage for burn immunity applied to burn stackables as well, except for this one, which is, the most recent and most relevant one out of all of them. So it's kind of ridiculous. Irby, I really encourage you to go send a form to LifeWonders in their complaints form.
They always tell me to know.
Working as intended.
Just
do that, please.
Oh my god!
Answer to you.
Poor Irby. No, but I'm sure they fixed the Eternal Mighty Eternal bug one eventually, only after the fact for Virtual Summary, which was fucking ridiculous because it would have been useful there to deal with Shenlong's stackable poison then. But, it would be neat if we don't have a part 2 of that happening with this stackable burn again. So, please.
Just wait until F Care 2.
Yeah.
It's the next event or something.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't think it's the next event, but it can be. I don't know.
But for
It's
those,
gonna happen.
yeah, for those who
Read in
don't know, it's coming up.
spoilers that the next event is River 2.
What? Didn't River 1 just come out?
Yeah, we're gonna get River 2.
What? No.
It's
that
just a
was-
joke.
Doesn't
It's
even.
probably a joke.
All right.
Uh, From what I heard in spoilers, it does seem that what we know so far for the next event is for Halloween. So that's kind of weird because there has to be a new summer event on this month according to
Halloween in
LifeWonders
summer.
schedule. Halloween in summer. Let's go.
Well, they seem to be placing Halloween wherever and whenever nowadays. It doesn't even matter. All right. I guess we are done talking about this here, unless we have any lingering thoughts.
Surtr's helmet's still only viewed from the front.
Truly, there is only one good Surtr AR. But yeah. Hello, Azino. I'm gonna re-up comments now, so yeah, I'm gonna close this off. What's this AR do? You can see the playback to see what it does, but essentially it just makes other people, as well as a unit who moves, get burn resistance. Ignore the heal, because it's like a shitty rate with a shitty mount. I really like the way Andvari looks in its own. Yeah, he has a total glow up. I kind of hate how LifeWonders keeps on putting, the icon art as the one who is not as interesting. Like, Andvari looks his best here. Happy and shining and amazing and not grotesquely muscular or grotesquely cartoonish or something like that. Like some of the other ARs. But instead they put Surtr's front-facing icon again. And then...
Just do like the Soul Ryota AR and put both.
I mean, that would have been preferable to this. And also, I mean, it's kind of ahead, but just the same problem was the Mori Orgus AR with Mori's iconic face, which we'll get to later.
Oh my god, I'm so glad it's not Mori.
No, I need that face on my icon. But yes, Surtr's looking hot, but my heart goes to Andvari instead. It's a good eye candy, I guess. Yeah, it is. Too bad you only see it for a split second whenever the charge actually happens. Anti-hot indeed. And can we get Surtr from the backside, please? That would require drawing the backside of his helmet. So, in other words, it's physically impossible, as demonstrated by every artist ever who has drawn him. So, unfortunately, we'll never see that. All right,
wasn't him drawn from the back on the Summonpedia?
Is he in the Summonpedia?
I think
Yeah,
he
he has
already
one.
was. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he probably has back art, but I don't remember. I do have
did have
actually
back
the
art.
one. What? Yeah, he does. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
There you
like Candy said something about Surtr or Peach or something.
Oh,
Everyone if you guys don't know, Summopedia is like the official merchandise that comes out like roughly once a year or once every 2 years for the most recent chapters that have been released. And it has a strange fixation on showing everyone's backside. Just, I guess, to give them a full profile, but it's kind of funny how consistent they always show a large image of their back.
It's just to get a reference of the characters.
Show me a nude reference, I care more about that. Alright, let's go to the next one for now. So yeah, thank you for checking August. We will just move on into the Hero and Kengo AR. And this one is being covered by Irby, I think?
Yes. This amazing AR. Just kidding. Basically, what this AR does is, after the unit's being hit, you have like 30% chance to remove a buff from the unit that's hitting you. That's kind of shitty because it's after being hit and also 30%, but also I won't talk about the rates because this kind of like okay-ish for remove buff standards, I guess, since remove buff is usually very very low rates on almost everything. So I won't judge on the percent aspect, but the fact that it's after being hit is kind of like meh, because it means you won't be able to steal an attack buff potentially from the unit. You won't be able to remove it and take less damage from it, unfortunately. And
You
it
say
also
steal,
has-
but there's only one unit.
I said steal, but I meant remove.
Okay.
But yeah, it is unfortunate. and it also has a defense modifier for blow and shot range units, which is okay, I guess. It's not that big of a defense boost, but it is covering 2 weapon types, so I guess it could be potentially useful. I recommend this probably on units that already have statuses such as remove buff or nullify buffs. Units that already try to deny enemies buffs, and that are also quite tanky. One unit that comes to mind for this is probably regular Surtr, or however you pronounce it, which he does have before being hit protection, which lets him survive a little bit. He's probably going to also want to stay close to the front as well, and he also has a wide potential range for nullify buff, which is going to help keep the enemies without buffs throughout the battle. I don't think it's a particularly useful AR, but I guess if you really want to meme with it, I guess you can equip it on Jacob and get the extra low range resistance if you really want that, and also get a neat short range resistant bonus.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment especially. Just equipping this on tanks is a good idea because, removing buffs would generally mean removing their damage buffs. And Jacob is actually pretty tanky for low range and because of his typing. But there's also a number of other units that have these existing weapon resistances that could be good for them too because they're somewhat tanky too. Like Wakan Tonka's regular 5, he has that evasion thing going on, and he also has blow resistance. There's also Lichio because he has intrinsic blow resistance for all that, and Soul, and there's a handful of units essentially for both blow and shot. And they end up being kind of tanky, but also damaging, so could be good for them. And as for the timing of it, being able to remove buffs when hit is it's not going to be useful for one attacking abilities or something like that because they can just activate it again when they hit the unit behind them or something. So it won't be productive. So in that case, this AR would be more useful for cases where they receive a buff on turn start or something.
I wish it was before being hit, but we can't have nice things.
I mean, this is a pretty unique effect. If it weren't for Oguchi Magumi, Magami, or Magumi? I forget. Magami, yeah. If it weren't for him, which literally only just released in a previous event, there would be no other effect like this that removes buffs when being hit. This would be unprecedented as a result. But, Oguchi just does it so much better.
I just think it's kind of ironic. It's not really an AR that you would equip on the units that actually are on the AR, except for Seth, I guess, but he...
Yeah.
It's just their...
Side characters don't count.
Side characters don't count.
He can equip it. So.
Yeah, he can still equip it, and that's why I actually recommended him, because he does have the Nullify buff, which also can provide protection, and also has tanking abilities with regeneration and to help him recover. So, and also the CP drop as well. So, he's in my opinion probably the best unit to put this on. To be honest.
I was going to say that it's a shame that Oguchi can't actually equip this, because then he would, possibly remove 2 buffs, and he would have already stolen one of them anyway, so, because that's before being hit.
I mean, he can on his 3-star.
Does he even have an effect on his 3-star? I can't remember.
No, it's the same. It's before being hit.
Same, right?
Yep.
Wow.
It's exactly the same skill, actually.
That's pretty cool. It would be good for a 3-star then. There's actually been a number of cases where 3-stars have been more useful than their higher rarities just because they can equip the AR that the higher ones can't. Like in that one meme river video I did, I had to use 3-star behemoths because it was only blow units that could equip the pulling AR. So this might be another case of that. That is to say, if you're rolling for that 30%, it's, we never mentioned it, but yeah, that's a kind of atrocious rate. So it's not really something you'd be relying on. It's more of a bonus at that point.
I hate 30% rates. It's Lave proc.
Lave proc.
Lave doesn't exist. He exists. His proc rates exists as much as his right thumb.
At least the art is cute.
I actually emailed LifeWonders about Lave's right thumb is missing. and it's not because it's obfuscated, because you can clearly see that it's like it would be bending upwards, and there's no space, there's nothing that would cover it besides the hand itself, and you'd have to bend it in an awkward angle. And then LifeWonders responded, and you're like, no, it's obfuscated. So, sorry to tell you this, but he'll never have his thumb. But yeah.
I'm offended by how they're holding their controllers. That's not how you hold controllers.
Just
Your fingers-
pretend this is
your
video
fingers-
games.
Your fingers should be on the
Top,
yes. There's no R3 on the. There shouldn't be a bumper there, so it should.
Who knows?
Because there's clearly an R1 and an R2, so
Maybe it's one of those fancy controllers with like touch pads on the back or something.
Yeah, it's just too futuristic for us to comprehend this.
It's not accurate because they're not using Nintendo Switches. That's where it's at. Yeah. Okay, so if we're done talking about this AR, then you may read out the comments, Herbie. Herbie?
Where did we left off again?
Um,
I can check. We all know Bumble. Out for those new references. Okay. Seth Cutie. That or face. I can't read this. Seth being Seth. Oguchi Magami.
Thank you.
Supremacy wins. We loved Seth's AR. I mean,
he looks pretty chill here, but I don't think Herbie's a big sass fan.
he probably. I do like using him, but the only thing this AR seems to be useful for is to equip it on Leech Show, stacked with his blow resistance. I mean, he's probably already going to skill lock the unit, so moving the buff is kind of like, We loved Sath. Update: the Summonopedia does show Surtr's backside. The backside of the helmet is very plain looking, and Sath looks very cute in this AR. Oh, there you go. That saves me the effort of going to get it myself. Is there a new person on the stream? I don't recognize the voice. Who said Lade Proc?
Yes, there is a new person. Go ahead, you can introduce him.
That was Milk Housamo. You can say hi, Milk. Or
Hi.
not.
Hi.
What? Yeah. Wonder what they're playing. They're probably still figuring out how to use those controllers, as August said. By the way, this makes me wonder if we'll ever get a game set to decorate the guild with, since it's canon. Oh.
I haven't touched my guild room in forever. You can only do it like periodically.
Mine still has the Christmas decorations from summer Christmas.
Oh my god. I bet you're like that in real life too, leaving Christmas decorations up until like months later.
No.
Don't worry,
Never-
I'm like that
I
too.
just never went there just to get the music. Super Smash Brothers. You can say Irby is not satisfied. No, not the puns. It's too late for puns. It's 8:30 p.m. I only ever go to my guild room by accident.
same.
I only go there for the music, as I said before. Now these days, one day I'll return there to do something. Maybe. Does anyone know Ape Escape? I heard about it, but no, I don't know.
I've heard about it, but I don't know what it is either. But yeah, I go to my guild room sometimes to play music at the beginning of streams, and sometimes I go there at the end of streams to just talk about my thoughts on it or whatever. But overall, when I'm playing by myself, it's kind of a dead button. Like, do not touch.
Just go there to make thumbnails if I'm really lazy.
Milk be like me and illegally download Photoshop and make your thumbnails just there.
No, I like my shit thumbnails.
Okay, but yeah, I think a number of people used to make thumbnails from there too.
Shit thumbnails are the best. You need to convert to shit thumbnails.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
No, I must put in all the effort in mine. Too much effort.
You're outnumbered. It's three against one.
Fine. Got one more comment.
Oh, there is. You can say. Wait a minute. It isn't uploading. I use the guild room as a display during events. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's too much effort. Okay, let's.
Yeah, it's too much effort. I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I just buy them all the guild items and then I never use them. All right, let's go to the next one, which will be the first 5-star AR we'll be talking about, which will be handled by Zalgas, I believe, Soul and Ryota. Or is this Milk?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
No, it's me.
Okay, good.
Pretty delicious art, first of all. Second, so this has 2 effects. The first is that on the first turn of every phase, if you move the unit, you give Guts in a cross formation 2 squares wide and tall. It's a pretty nice base rate of 80%, so none of this 30% lab procs, which is good because I hate these, especially 5-star ARs that basically require you to get dupes for it to be useful. But no, with only one duplicate or only one copy of this, you can pretty much take full use of the Guts. It's the Guts part is all right, I'd say. Guts is still a fairly strong buff to have, nice and long lasting. So being on the first turn of every phase shouldn't be a problem. Although it does have a problem in that if you clear a phase a bit too fast, then you won't be able to refresh it, because first turn will pass, and then if Guts falls off after that, you can't refresh it. But that's something you can play around if you stall, perhaps. The other part of it is it is our first ability to give all range resistance. The only units who have ever had all range resistance has only been enemies. So this is the first time it's in players' hands. Unfortunately, I came to the conclusion that it's not very useful. Generally speaking, when you get attacked by all range enemies in any quests, they will come under 3 broad categories. They will either do flat damage and small base damage, so the resistance doesn't matter, or they'll give you a bunch of... Actually, let me do an example first. So for the flat damage, there are 2 CQs I have in mind. The second CQ in Andvari Falls, there were jellyfish who all do flat damage and low base damage, so it wouldn't be useful there. And in Virtual Summary on the third CQ, there were some mermaids who also do flat damage, so it would be useful there. Then there are some enemies who just apply a bunch of debuffs onto you, which, like Echo, for example, that's what her entire kit is about. So again, the all range is not useful. Or they outright blow you up with really, really high damage. Example is in the Warmonger's Clash quest. If you let Tadztecatli poker charge a CP up too much, he will just all range wipe you, and he'll probably kill you or severely damage your units. At this point, I don't think having a single person with 0.6 multiplier would help, because it does a lot of damage. I feel like that, because of the nature of all range, having the resistance on only one person isn't really that useful. The multiplier itself is actually pretty good, 0.6. It's pretty high, compared to, say, the 0.8 we had a moment ago. But, like I said, I just don't think it's very useful. It seems niche, very niche.
It is, but I think we did have a challenge quest that doesn't fit either category recently. The one in Summer River where Summer Shiva is actually all range, and it can also deal some significant damage.
Oh, I never figured that out because I killed the last every time.
Yeah, there's that example that comes to mind.
And there was also the last phase of that Kanan quest with the mermaids on the side or something.
Ah, yes, the Infernal Mermaids.
Weren't they just there to throw you about?
Yeah, they didn't really deal that much damage, but Shiva did though.
True.
Although I guess in that same phase, their Astaroth and Astarte will turn to all and start hitting you, but at that point you've probably already lost, as I have discovered myself when I was doing testing.
Well, not really, but depends. Yeah, it depends on how many people survived the all range CS.
I think I did survive once, but anyway, I'll finish up before. So people who can use this, if you want to take advantage of the Guts, basically anyone who has incentive to move, particularly on turn 1. Some examples are Halloween Babylon, who is a offensive buff, and she just gives a bunch of buffs to everyone, so add Guts to that, which would be nice. Summer Shenong gives Does he give out poison reverse or does he give out poison? I forget which way around Summer Shenlong is.
Doesn't he give both?
He gives both. Yes.
He gives both, but one of them is.
He doesn't need to move.
Yeah, he
No, he
doesn't.
doesn't.
Move. No.
Yeah.
There was something he moved for, I thought.
No,
that's
he
regular.
doesn't.
Yeah. Regular is turn start poison, move for poison reversal, and
Yeah, that's why you don't use regular.
yeah.
Ever.
I mean, hey, you might want him for the evasion or something.
Isn't like Gunzo better for that now?
Yes. And I guess you could also use it on Christmas Seatree, who is all about giving buffs to allies, so give guts as well. Could be nice. Oh yes, note that the guts does not apply to
Self.
the person that it's on. Yeah, it's only for allies. So
There's always a gotcha.
if you plan on trying to guts tank through phases for everyone, it won't work for whoever's holding it.
I guess you could equip it on my can if you really want. So, since he can refresh his guts.
I guess. But who uses him?
No one. I also thought of someone else, but I didn't write that down. Oh right, Tangaroa. If you want Tangaroa to go back to his roots and buff allies and not himself.
You mean regular Tangoro? No, thank you. Not even that evil will save him. Ugh. I feel like it's just there to, you know...
Oh.
I feel like it's just a band-aid for like people who accidentally pulled him. It's like, ah, here you go. He's not as shit anymore, I guess.
Isn't that all Evos?
I mean, in this case, it feels like, you know, a lot of people have Tangoro and put him up because he's like the only 5-star what unit they have, and even though he's shit. So, at least they feel a bit better in that sense.
I think he's not that bad, to be honest. And hey, maybe with this all-range resistance, maybe I will use him one day in 2 years.
I know Milk used them before, isn't that right? For some flat
Yeah,
damage.
but it was really stupid. It was just like
The tiniest flat
spirit
damage.
strengthening on a Bale CQ that everybody one turned. Yeah.
Well, A for effort at least.
I was thinking this AR is kind of good for like Wakan regular 5. Yeah.
Well, he does move a lot and gives evasion anyways. I kind of think it's a weird combo that LifeWonders sometimes pairs them together. Units that can give both guts and evasion. Like, they don't really work, but at the same time they do work in a way that they're different from normal defense buffs that are reliable. They're both like rare, like low proc rate defense buffs that greatly mitigate death.
Yeah.
Also, I said it before, but I should probably say it again, but I tried it with Christmas Ager, and he does not get guts back on the first turn, so you need to move him again to get the guts back.
That's probably because I don't know. I generally do not know, but
I mean,
the other one works with Sanat Kumara. I can attest to that.
yeah, I don't know. It's the thing with like AR timing paired with unit timing is weird. It's kind of black magic in that sense. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I wouldn't think too much about it because again, we're just talking about niche cases in that case. One final thought I'd like to add on this is again, this is one of those ARs that, I mean, it's not as likely, but it's one of those ARs that could get better over time as more units are released. Because there might be more units where, you know, all range is more common for the enemy. For example, by more weapon changes all the time. Or even maybe LifeWonders will finally release a unit with native all range. Who knows? But I think there's potential for it to get stronger as a result.
It would have been cool if Horus could equip this AR.
Yeah, so that he could actually bestow guts on, like, base start guaranteed instead of, you know, only 50-50 all the time.
And my final thought is that Soul looks very cute.
Yeah, I mean, but Soul's always cute.
They should do this theme for more ARs.
Okay, Zalgus. Yeah, I guess that covers all our thoughts for this AR, so if you will, Zalgus, you can read out the comments.
Why'd you say that like a question?
Because I forgot to introduce already.
Sweaty Ryota. Yeah, pretty good. The fact I'm not going to be able to pull this AR breaks my heart. Have faith, August. You can do it. Soul looks tasteful.
I think you mean tasty, but okay.
Yeah, those are two very different things. How many units have guts on move to others? Because I only remember Horus. It's just Horus? I feel like there might be more.
I feel like maybe you want to.
I don't remember anyone.
Just look at the guts used skill page. There you go. And Control F on move, or when moving, or after move. Whatever. How many... Oh, no. Both of them. Both of them who? Or, well, both of them look tasty. Yes. Once again, would units get the best ARs? I don't know if I'll describe this as the best, but I guess off the batch, it's not really a high bar to cross.
Yeah, among the rest of the ARs, this is okay, I guess.
You could equip it on Summon Jugo if you wanted him in a more supportive role. I don't know about doing that at every first turn, because then you lose out on the on getting triple debuffs on everyone. Well, I guess Curse lasts a decent amount of time, but then you don't get the. But then you don't
get the curse strengthening.
Yeah, you don't get. Jugo won't benefit from Curse. I suppose you could put it on Jugo, but I would say that he's not really someone who wants to be moving every first turn. Horus Wood variant, let's go. Well, there's no guarantee that he'll be a gut spot. Well, I kind of doubt he'll be a gut spot. They try not to make units the same as their normal.
They used to, but
yeah, they used to.
Now it's like they can be completely different, or have an inverted kind of sense. Like I feel like Shiva's kind of like almost backwards from his original kit. It's a bit weird, but there's like a bit of their essence there somewhere whenever they make an Evo. But sometimes it's just connected to their lore rather than their original kit.
Remove Shiro Valentine's, which is literally just Shiro vanilla but worse. God, it's for Labe. Is it?
You have to move Labe, and Labe doesn't need to move.
He gets tenacity and CP from the pelt coiler. That's the old name.
Disgusting. No. Just don't use Labe.
Yeah. Please, why did Labe not get an Evo? My god. The two guys who needed the Evo the most on Dream Kingdom, and neither of them got one.
Well, who knows? Maybe, LifeWonders is going to give them amazing Evos just like for Leaked eventually. Fingers crossed. Now that we have the status of the skill things, or skill as a status.
They will give Alp the skill evolution on F Curry too, obviously.
Well, he is from Yggdrasil. I guess if Labe gets it, he will have at least one good proc rate. I'm willing to wager X-Age's skill copy prioritizes pre-existing buffs so the effects don't overlap. I don't know, you guys know the more technical stuff, so... Thoughts?
I think...
I don't know.
I don't do testing.
I don't know. The timing with other... checking for other allies might be different from, activating skills in sequence within the same unit, so... It's kind of hard to say in person, so I don't know. Just leave it as, it's different. It's something else.
I actually didn't test it with him, so... But yeah, it probably doesn't work for some weird reason.
Ellie is one who spreads guts with her charge skill adjacent to other squares. We were actually asking... Well, someone was actually asking about on move, but doesn't Ellie spread it to enemies so that they don't die once she CS's them and possesses them?
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
It's both.
I feel like Ellie's charge is so janky because, it functions exactly like a, what's it called, doubt. But then it's not with doubt. So it's like the technology wasn't quite there, but then they just made the exact same effect with doubt later. Okay, that's a bit of a direction, but whatever.
Let's move to the worst AR ever.
Alright, then we shall move on to the best AR ever. The more you go AR. So I believe this is Milk Houssamo's turn. Hey look, there's Milk all over this AR. Good.
Okay. So this is another 5-star limited AR on this limited AR gacha banner.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
you want to summarize it? You want to summarize the nature of these ARs first, Milk? In terms of their limited nature?
Oh, okay. You want me to introduce it? Yeah. So, since this is a collab, LifeWonders has decided to make the ARs with the limited units, the F car units, limited ARs as well.
So
which is
yeah, these would be the first of their kind, right?
Yeah, which is not really too surprising in the sense that they probably don't want like units from another game being in the regular AR gacha, but it's still very disappointing to see that happen. Yeah.
Okay, to summarize, all of the ARs except for the Andvari Surtr one are limited, so if you're interested in these ARs, now's your only chance to pull them. Because after this banner's done, this event is done, it's not going into the permanent gacha. It's just gone until whenever they decide to reprint this limited ARs.
Possibly anniversary.
Doubtful. But yeah, okay, sorry for the digression. You can continue on with talking about this AR now. Look.
Okay, so this is a 5-star limited AR, and its effect is after attacking, remove debuff from self at a 35% rate at level 1, and plus 200 to 400 HP at a proc rate of 40% to 80%. So we're going back to late procs, which is unfortunate. On average, you would expect to have to do 3 hits to remove a debuff from your
You actually calculated that. You actually calculated that.
It's just a rough, expected value. And you can expect about 80 HP of healing per hit at level 1. A thing to note, though, is that at level 100, your healing is 320 HP per hit on average, which is actually really high if you're a whale, but that's only if you can find one. So, pretty interesting. Fun fact, this is actually very similar to Moritaka 4's skill evolution. His, ice cleaving blade, whatever thing.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Where he has, remove debuff and healing. So, this AR is basically kind of like a copy from that skill evolution. Okay. So its restrictions are slash and long slash, which kind of limits it, but there's actually quite a few people who can equip this AR, which I think are good. So in general, people who are tanky or want healing and want to remove debuffs from themselves will want to equip this. So the first person that came to mind really was Jamboree Aizen, because his debuff removal and healing is only on his CS. So this AR, even if its rates are trash, can really help him because he can really stack debuffs on himself. So having the extra source of debuff removal and healing is pretty good. In terms of tanky people, I'd say Marco and Vbarg or Horq5 could use this. It's not going to be too great, but it gives them an option. Yeah. There's also a lot of people who have. Huh?
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were not done. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, there's also a lot of people who have combo and large ranges as a slash and long slash unit. So some popular examples are V Summer Hephaestus, Christmas Z Suzuka, you have Festival Licho and McCroy. And of course, Hephaestus 3. Yeah, so that's kind of annoying.
I would say, I don't know, the healing sources, you would have to hit a lot of units to actually make it worth your while. And you're not going to have a lot of copies, so again, I would see that mostly as a bonus.
I've actually found a support Orgus with this AR, and it was actually max, and I was like, "Woof! This healing is amazing."
Yeah, just find a whale that has a max.
Just find a whale.
Yeah, I mean,
of
like,
course.
if you have a whale, then it's like 320 HP per hit. So wide slash, that's like 1,500, and like with combo, it's like 3K, which is like a third of people's HP nowadays. Yeah. But I mean, like, that's only whale territory, so I'm not gonna get into that.
I can heal a lot more with using. I can heal a lot more with using Desert Hanuman with like combo from Sus. So
Yeah, but then you'd have to use him.
I guess.
No
But,
desert journey units except Gumal, please. Cypher's okay.
Yeah, this AR is just decent for tanks in general. Not sure if I would ever really rely on the healing until it's at a higher level. The remove debuff is, I think, too shit to even matter unless you're using regular Kalki 4, because he would actually get his all range up when he is debuffed, and it would be good for debuff refreshment, I think, so that you can constantly, activate that ability. If you guys don't remember, Kalki received an Evo some time ago where when he's debuffed, he gets all range and like maybe attack up or something. So he becomes kind of a board wiper with his regular range. One of
the and something like that.
Yeah.
One of the problems with him though was you couldn't really refresh the debuff because what's called all range lasted for 3 turns, and then the debuff would last for even longer than that. So there ended up being a dead turn for the debuff. And unless you're using Summer Shenong and keeping them like adjacent to each other the entire time, so that he could remove the debuff every phase start, and you were doing board weights every time, then Kalki was kind of just a bit tricky to play with as a result. So giving him this would kind of help you ensure that he doesn't have that debuff again to get it refreshed. Not to mention that the healing might actually pay off in that case when you're hitting the entire board. So yeah, I would say that would be the most notable example for this AR to be used for.
Just
Yeah.
use Champ Mori.
I was kind of hesitant to put Kalki because almost all the Kalki like team compositions that I've seen use Summer Shenong or Li Nan, and both don't really want him to heal or clear the debuff. In the case of Shenong, its poison reversal gets nullified basically.
Well,
Clears that
if you're
debuff.
not using Summer Shenong for some reason, then this would be...
And then Li Nan has limit, so you don't actually want him to heal either. So yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's an option. Like
So,
most
yeah.
Kasuga meta, it's coming. Just watch.
If you want tanky Kalki strats, I mean, he does have the ability with the adamantine and the evasion behind him. I think the
Plus, think of how much of a meme it would be for Kalki to just heal everything every single time he hits. So it could be good in that case if you're also going for the heal spam.
So yeah. Overall, I think it's like could be good in a very situational sense, but I think it's just kind of really shit and annoying to work with.
Yeah, I
Because,
feel
like,
like I agree with you in the
it's like-
sense that it doesn't really seem like a 5-star effect. It's just seems like something you'd
I
find
mean,
in the protagonist.
it
It
is-
reminds me
it
of
is-
something you'd see on a protagonist.
it is if you wait for it.
Okay, Irby.
I mean, remove debuff is like a really good effect. Like I'm
I think
always
it's
like
really
really annoyed.
I mean, is it? If
When
you
I
have Jamboree Eisen, you're spoiled at that point, so you don't even care about debuffs.
That's why you use it on Jamboree Eisen. Aha.
Why?
Well said.
Yeah.
You're not actually putting him in the front, you're just putting him in the back to take all your debuffs.
Yeah, but what if you take skill lock? Then you can remove the skill lock.
Yeah, he can
Yes.
actually do that, yeah, with this AR. But yeah, it's a late proc of like 35%. So, and debuffs are usually like a make or break sort of situation, so yeah, it's really annoying.
I guess. But at that point, I tried to prevent it outright. But, everyone has different strategies. For me, it's not something I'd like care about, but other people, I'm sure, would be fine with this, right? Alright, I think that's everything, unless anyone has any other thoughts.
My final thoughts on this AR is that Moritaka's face is a crime. That's nature.
Everyone loves that face. It's the Moritaka face. Like his tongue's
I
out
agree,
to receive
which
the
is
blessing of
why
milk.
I actually kind of want it to be the icon.
That's what I'm saying.
Orgus.
Why did they fucking pick Orgus's face? It could have been that one instead.
I hate it.
It's so good. Good boy,
Probably the
Mori.
same reason why it's what's his face hero on the Kengo one as well, because it's the F Care units.
Yeah.
But look at how perfect this AR looks for Mori.
No.
I kind of want like my support list to just be flooded again with like Dungeon Arslan 4 and Morigals.
No thanks. I would not even tolerate Arslan in that case. But yeah, I think that's it for this AR. Do you have any thoughts, August, or is that?
Nah, well, besides Jamboree Mori, that was pretty much the only thing I could be bothered to think of.
Okay. Can Jamboree Mori even equip this? He can't.
Yes,
Yeah, because he's on the.
Moritaka's
okay.
on it.
Oh, okay. I forgot Moritaka was featured on it too.
He has innate combo and removes debuffs off of himself anyway, so
Yeah, it can be good, and he has combos. Yeah,
resistance.
strong synergy there. Then, did he pull for this there?
I didn't get it on my phone. I only did 110 pull and a few tickets. I did get it on my emulator though,
Nice.
and I don't expect me to use it though.
All right.
Oh, right. I forgot to mention it, but this somewhat mitigates Orgus minus HP when attacking. You can see it actually has that for some
I'm
reason.
kind of baffled
Yeah.
why he even has that. It's like only slightly better than average.
But
crit rate.
is this law?
No, not really. But I guess they did that because his crit chance is higher than the usual.
Like barely that much. What's the normal crit chance? What the heck?
I don't know, but it is higher than usual crit chance, I guess.
It's like when attacking 64%.
It's okay.
The normal is like 50% for most.
It's 40%, I feel like, with like Dragonborn.
I
True.
guess.
I'm too spoiled by my seated protagonist. Okay, well, I think we've did it on enough for this, so let's Milk, if you will, read out the comments.
Okay. The best AR ever. Okay. Wowie. Morrigal. Best AR for Fest Licho in doing a solo run. Yeah, I was thinking of Festival Licho.
Oh,
I couldn't really
yeah.
test it though, but yeah. Yeah, I guess it could work. Usually when I use Festival Licho though, he's kind of like in a near death state where you like cheese spam guts with his combo. So I guess if he like heals enough through this AR, then sure. Yeah. Because he gets around like 10 hits if he managed to hit like a whole pyramid. But yeah.
I mean, it would be either way if he just kept with the same range too. But yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Everyone talks about Moritaka's face, but not enough people are talking about his other assets.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
his chesticles?
I guess it's like his chest or
As
armpits.
expectors of breasts.
It's probably his belly or something like that.
Okay. Lewd Mori face. Whale emoji. Basically, Moritaka is the one doing all the work. Orgus is just there for the long slash. Yeah, I guess so. We stand Morrigal. My strategy is for this AR is getting this AR first.
That's a good
Okay.
strategy.
Yeah, this AR doesn't exist.
I think, Azino, you may have a point. Everyone needs to listen to Azino right now.
I don't feel that lucky getting this AR as I see more and more people getting this AR for some reasons. Yeah.
Probably because they
it's kind
willed for it because it has
kind of
Mori.
shit feeling to have, but yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, this is the only AR I didn't get from this banner. So there you go. Now
Isn't the
you're
only...
special.
You didn't even want the AR either.
I didn't. But hey, it happened.
Frankly, even though all the limited ARs actually, they're limited in this case, I didn't really want any of the ARs, which is why I only use tickets for this banner. I usually do a multi, but not for this matter. They don't seem particularly that interesting personally to me. But as many of you pointed out, it seems like some of you will find use for this. Okay, so let's just move on to finally the skill evolutions. Spent a solid hour just on the ARs, which is an okay for time.
Honestly, I think we could have blazed through them a lot faster because they're pretty simple.
There's not a lot to talk about them really.
The skill levers will be faster.
All right.
Yeah, when we get skill boost.
Okay, so we are going to start off talking with Orgus's Evo, which is an Evo that no one else wanted to do, so I decided to take it up, of course. So this Evo, it increases the rate from tenacity from 90% to 100%, which means for those of you who skill seeded them just for the tenacity guarantee, you got baited really hard. But it still benefits for his evasion, I guess, in that case. But now he's definitely more of a reliable tank as a result. The tiny change probably just is the more relevant one for general purpose. The second change is now he gets CP whenever he misses, and of course it's kind of hard to miss with long slash if you're using him as intended by keeping him in front to bestow evasion behind. But if you do decide to move him, he will switch into non-range. So it gives him a way to build his charge faster, which honestly his charge is kind of shit in terms of what it does. I don't think it really would do that much more damage than if he just activated crit, for example, with his regular attack. In that case, I think the only reason it would be useful is because if you're going to be spamming, weapon change to none and constantly bestow evasion behind you, then he's kind of just there to wall out the enemy from reaching the back row without being able to attack himself. In this case, at least he'll be able to damage the enemy eventually, because when he gets his charge up, he'll be able to switch to his charge, even if he does have weapon change none. So this gives him a bit more DPS as a result. I said DPS because I'm playing too much Final Fantasy. This gives him a bit more damage as a result for just making his charges more frequent, because he already does have an ability that gives him CP whenever he's hit. But in the case where you're stalling and for some reason he's not getting hit, for example, if you're stalling with a blow range unit, then you can start dealing that damage with him when he gets his charge up. And I don't know, it's kind of a simple Evo. Just equip with him any ARs that boost his CS damage. That's all I have to say about it. Did you guys leave or something? One for coffee.
I was gonna say, the damage on his CS would be a decent amount higher even with crit, just because Wide Slash has such a terrible modifier. It would deal about a few thousand more, even at SA level 1. His regular attack does 6,000-ish damage when he attacks with crit, so he would definitely be doing more damage. But yeah, it's mostly there so that he has something to do besides get hit when he's weapon change none, which is okay, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else, guys?
There's nothing
I
to
mean,
say.
it's plus 20 CP, what else can you say? Yeah.
At least he can charge faster now and get bigger. Level 1.
I guess try and pair him with someone who gets
I mean, I really like the guaranteed tenacity too. It's just yeah. But
yeah,
there's
now
not really
I
much
don't
else.
actually need to seed him.
Well, if you seed him, you can get 100% CP rate.
No.
You can get a higher evasion rate, which is pretty good.
Just use my Kotara instead.
Because his
Oh.
evasion rate is 80%. Because it's that sort of savior plus sort of thing. But yeah.
It's not that bad. It's for 3 units.
Okay, so we all agree, kind of a dead Evo. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, it could be worse.
I mean, it's useful, but it's not incredible, not interesting. Yeah. All right, then I will just read out the. Is there even any new comments? Yeah, there's a few, I guess.
Bare bones.
For some reason, thanks. These Evos are less than bare bone, to be honest. Well, it seems like Azina has been reading ahead. Every time I look at these skill Evos, I just think, oh man, LifeWonders, are you trying to make people or not?
To be honest,
Yeah,
I don't think any of these units barring Soul needed skill.
Oftentimes the Evos, they seem to be there just to, you know, make the units feel like they're not completely neglected. So, for example, if people are fans of a character, then, you know, that's kind of like LifeWonders gesture saying, hey, look, you remember this guy exists. But otherwise, they rarely actually make the Evo good enough to make them even more worth-playing. Rare are the days where we get a Ryota tier Evo.
I think like the old units.
Ryota sucked, to be honest.
Yeah.
It wasn't like these.
I think the old units who aren't on the banners seem to be getting better Evos than the units who are on banners, like Kalki, for example, and Taramighty, who, I mean, I guess they had the Valentine's 1 banner, but they haven't been on banner forever, so I think it's kind of silly that they got way better Evos than anyone who's been on a banner recently.
I mean, to be honest, they were all kind of shittier than the banner units.
I mean, yeah, like
They don't make money, though.
again, like I'm saying, they're not really making them like strong Evos that's worth pulling for all the time, just because, well, you know, they're not gonna be money makers to begin with. So it's mostly just a good base gesture, is what I'm saying for people who are. There are a few people who are fans of them. But
I mean, Orgus is really good, I think, so he didn't really need an Evo in the first place.
I don't think he needed an Evo either. Neither did Nekros.
Yeah, but they wasted their slots and now they won't get one.
There's no slots, Salgas, calm down.
Starte.
If only Wakatara is anything, there's no slots. Jeez. Alright.
Well, maybe he'll get another Evo when he gets his variant in F Kari too.
I kind of doubt that, but one can hope.
A bit too soon.
Why would he get an Evo to begin with? He doesn't need anything.
Alright, let's just move on. It could be worse indeed, as you know. Yeah, let's continue off with Soul, which actually is surprisingly one of the most interesting Evos in Banner after a year or two of memeing against Soul. Irby, it's time for your redemption, if you will.
Promise buyout.
It is time. The time of reckoning has come. So basically, Soul's skill evolution is a skill evolution on is Demolisher skill, which changes to Disciple of Destruction. What it does is it's basically his previous Nullify Protection and Nullify Defense up are gone in favor of a new status that gives the enemies resistance to all common defense buffs, like all common defense buffs. I say this, all common non-conditional defense buffs, like evasion, defense up, protection, tenacity, adamantine, all that stuff. But stuff like poison reversal and stuff like that is conditional. It doesn't work as usual as these sort of defense piercing stuff normally are. So basically, he gets this new status, which is honestly pretty neat. It's not exactly a buff, and also not exactly a debuff. It's a new type of status that applies to the units that cannot be removed or resisted, which basically makes them impossible to get defense ups, which is very useful. It means that if you have him on the leader slot, all the units that hit the units that he hits will essentially be able to deal their full damage to them, provided they don't have any debuffs of their own, of course. They'll be able to, in essence, not only pierce, but, well, since this status actually removes the buffs, they'll be able to deal their damage naturally, as if they didn't have any defense buffs at all, because they're gone. They're completely gone.
If you think about it,
refresh it, and also this is the first time we can actually fully penetrate evasion, I guess, because he removes it.
if you think about it, though, it's a tiny bit of a debuff in some senses too, or rather a downgrade, because his original one would have that multiplier even if it was like skill level 1. But in this case, that's just going to remove it, so you won't be able to cheese out doing more damage by penetrating a level 1 protection or defensive.
I guess if you want to count it like that, but personally, I think this is a lot better in my opinion.
No, I agree. I'm just nitpicking the niche cases again.
It's not temporary like Nullify Defense Up, and it actually does make them impossible to gain all these statuses at once, which is pretty neat. And it is also the only time we can actually target evasion on ourselves. I mean, you could argue that we could just remove buff, but we can't exactly force it to be evasion. So this is the first time we can actually do this. He also gets a new status as well. This is probably just so the first skill actually triggers and removes all the defense buffs, which basically you gain when attacking weapon weakness shot. This is the first time also we get an ability like this.
Well, it was impossible to implement before skill acquisition statuses. So it's nice that they're finally doing that in that case.
Yeah, what it does is it basically gives a 2.5 multiplier for 3 turns on the enemies that will make shot units deal 2.5 times damage on them. It's basically a buff for short range units that attack after soul for 3 turns, which is very conditional, to be honest, but it is better than nothing. He already can make enemies immune to defenses, which is pretty great. It is better than the Nullify Protection for once, especially because I made that ticket to LifeWonders on the Virtual Summer Memory challenge quest.
Right.
Where Hephaestus had protection and protection strengthening, and Nullify Protection didn't actually remove protection, but
they ruined your meme,
which made protection strengthening still effective. But with this, he actually removes protection, which makes strengthening abilities like those irrelevant as well.
Well, yeah, a lot of these, what's called previous things where they nullify protection or nullify defense up. There's a lot of other skills like that, and they're just workarounds for when we didn't have skill acquisition. So hopefully they patch those other things because they're quite janky. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the rest of his kit doesn't actually work too well with this, but you take what you can get. It is also pretty weird that he still has the attack modifier against evasion, but
just in case they resist the buff removal, I guess.
That is very weird, but sure. I don't even think they can remove that. They can resist that. I mean, this is a status, so it should make them immune to the statuses and they disappear. That is what I think.
What if they get skill locked?
What do you mean?
What if they get skill locked? If they get skill locked, will a status resistance trigger?
I think so. It's a buff. I mean, it's not a buff, but it's a status, so I think it should still trigger. But I haven't exactly tested it myself, to be quite honest. But it should work. I'll probably check it out later. But yeah, I think this is pretty great. I mean, now your entire team can be.
Yeah, I think
5-star 8.
This might not be like a Ryota tier Evo, but it's somewhat close in terms of that. I feel that this would give a soul a lot more relevance in challenge quests rather than Urbi's previous ham-fisted attempts at trying to use them.
I mean, I predicted this. This was what it was made for. To penetrate.
Okay, there's a difference between predicting and hoping. Jeez.
But yeah, that is pretty much all my thoughts on it. Unfortunately, his protection thing is still only for the first 4 turns, which is a shame, but it does help everyone survive a bit, and it's still pretty useful sometimes. And that is all I have to say.
Well,
evolution.
Yeah, it's great. Now I really wish I had him, but I'm not gonna pull that hard for him. I might throw a few more tickets, but still, I've got Ita, so whatever. But in terms of there's one thing I wanted to add in terms of a technical detail. It gives you the skill of being able to remove protection, tenacity, and adamantine defensive, and all that jazz. And status resistance is the trigger, which we have characterized so far as being activated whenever a unit receives any status, whether it's the named ones or not. And that trigger then checks for any extant statuses as well as any incoming statuses. And if it's incoming, it'll prevent it from being applied in the first place, such as the case for resistances to debuffs. And if they're already there, then they'll remove it. And that's in cases where it's they originally failed to remove them in the first place, which like we've already exhibited for the Fafnir quest when some people had a burn immunity, but only partially due to some AR. So it's just to summarize, that condition takes effect whenever a status is received. With that said, I don't know if this skill actually activates with this status itself that gives the skill. In fact, I doubt it does. So I think the reason why they attached weapon weakness shot is to throw in another status immediately after to trigger that. But that's just my speculation. I'm not actually sure if the infliction of this status would be trigger enough for the status itself to trigger its skill, which would then remove all these statuses. That's a lot of a mouthful, but I hope some of you understand what I'm trying to say.
It could just be for the lore. It's just so the hero can deal more damage to the units. To be honest. But it can be that too.
Yeah. True. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this should be easily confirmable depending on if anyone can inflict a debuff on their allies, such as burn or charm, and then use that AR that gives burn resistance, but only after the fact by moving, and seeing if it removes it or not just by that. But until then, this is speculative territory. This is stuff that most of you don't need to know. But what I'm just trying to say is there's a bit unknown here, and keep a look out on for if this might not work or not in some cases as a result.
This is also a new status, so it's kind of new territory.
Yeah, new status type is what Review's saying. It's neither your standard removable buff or debuff or your standard irremovable buff or debuff. As we look through the files in the diff files for the game updates. With that said, we also don't know what it means, how it behaves differently. So, and, we'll find out eventually. Hopefully, maybe we'll see. All right, that's enough filtering for me. Anything from you, Zalgus?
Yeah, I'm kind of really annoyed by the skill evolution, honestly. Because really, I feel like he should have gone this in the first place.
It was the technology wasn't there at the time. That's all I can say.
Like this should have like
been there.
Been there. So like this skill evolution isn't really exciting to me. Like this weapon weakness, whatever shot, it's just stigma but shittier. And
I mean, no, I agree in terms of you're not going to use it for itself. But in cases where they are already stacking multiple debuffs, then you might want to consider also bringing a shot primary damage dealer, because Soul would be perfect for that in that case.
yeah, you can only really attack like 2 squares on one turn though. So, yeah. Because of the overlap.
Yeah, of course.
So I'd rather have like, I don't know, I would have rather had like buffs to like every part of his kit, honestly. Like extend past the 4-turn bullshit. Like quadruple the flat damage. I don't know. Like
I think there is a lot that could have been done here as well, but
because like this really should have just like been there in the first place. So
yeah,
it was not, the technology wasn't there.
yeah.
I mean, like they could have at least like given him like 6 nullify defense statuses, but yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean, it'd still be worse than this, I guess.
I mean, as a result, we received something fancier, kind of.
But yeah, I guess his like niche is still pretty cool. Like he's in the Eta Tajigarao sort of area now.
Yeah.
Hooray! He's not completely useless anymore. Just kidding.
Now you don't have to like sarcastically use him as if he's the greatest unit ever.
No. What will happen to my videos now?
Now you can use Soul, but be serious when you say he's useful.
You
No.
can keep using Soul 3 and use the
Oh, yes.
Varga Arslan AR.
If I got it, I guess, but I didn't, unfortunately.
Oh,
Just
Yeah,
do what I
maybe
did
someday.
and pull him in one ticket.
No.
Okay.
How could you do this to me?
Through extreme luck. Any comments, August, or should I?
Not really. I do agree that that 4-turn stuff is still annoying. It should be phase. Well, maybe they think that would be too strong to.
I think they could. I think it could have been easily amended by just making phase.
It should be phase turn
Phase-
1
phase-
through 4. Yeah.
But no, but even if they thought that was too powerful, they could have just given them like starting from phase 2, phase 3, etc. You start giving protection for the first turn of
guess.
each phase as well.
I don't know. Maybe they think the global is too strong, but
I mean, it is pretty.
Yeah.
It is very useful, but 4 turns is not enough, unfortunately.
yeah. Well, at least he's able to penetrate all of the common defense. I always thought it was weird that he couldn't penetrate tenacity, which is like the most common. Well, maybe not nowadays, but now he can do that as well.
Right.
So that's good.
Okay. Well, if that's it, then Irby, read out the comments.
Where were we? Time for Soul Bad Guys skill evolution. Soul's redemption arc is here. Soul opened his eyes for once. Too bad it doesn't cover buffs that increase both attack and defense, like Poison Reversal.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't affect that, but it's not because
We emailed LifeWonders. They're like, it doesn't count because it's conditional or something.
yeah, it's conditional because it only works when you have poison on, so that doesn't count by LifeWonders standards as a defense buff.
Which is horseshit. It just means they don't have the technology yet.
The technology isn't there yet. Brock now a slightly better gym leader. Post game Brock. Hello, I'm late. Hello. From season 1 Brock to season 2 Brock. Maybe you have missed the AR talk. I guess you're late. Oh my god, is a villager Minecraft. How dare you? Can't wait for more weapon weakness debuffs to be added. I mean, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that for sure. It's definitely gonna be one of the more common ones they're gonna add because it's just been egregious that they gave weapon resistances but no weapon advantages all this time.
Glad to see Soul Face, but using characters. Got a nice skill evolution. Oh my god, weapon weakness none. No! Yeah.
Amazing.
It sounds terrible, but it sounds like something Festival Furufumi should have. Sunbutt. Solace. Get it? Because Solace. Solaces. I'll see myself out. Yeah, probably. There are a lot of puns today.
I'm sure Irby finds solace in that.
Yeah, why'd you crop it out?
There's no room.
Well, you should have shifted the picture to the left.
There's literally no room for that.
No, I mean just that.
Well, I would have to shrink Soul himself then. Everyone's actually standard size. I don't shrink or increase their size from the wiki for these
I mean,
assets.
crop his face out.
Seriously? No.
Traseiro Solar. Amazing. It's all butt talk. The best part of his kit is his butt's best asset.
Alright, we get it. We get it.
We get it.
You're gonna get flagged for this.
Oh no, we're going to get reported.
Don't worry, I cropped out his butt, so we'll be safe. Alright, let's move on to the next unit. Or rather, skill evolution. Is this the last one?
No, there's the hero missing.
Right. Okay. So we have skill evolution for Nekros and Bacchus, covered by Zagus, if you will.
Honestly, I think I should have taken the Orgus one if I wanted maximum low effort. Right. So, it's a evolution, air quotes, to his Dazzle and Charm on turn phase start. The only thing that actually improved about it is that the area improved very slightly. The rates didn't go up, it's still 80%, 50%, which is... I don't know why they needed to keep it so low.
I mean, they're not low in the first place. They're pretty decent chances for,
I mean,
a guy that gives a million
yeah.
debuffs.
I mean, yeah, the Dazzle's good. The Charm's kind of whatever too, because other people can do that too. Although now he has a slight advantage in that his area is slightly bigger than Huckleman and Gabriel, who had the same range as him in the 2-square diamond. And now he has charm resistance. Wow. So if you would like to move to the diagram, the poopy diagram that I made.
Sure.
So rather than a 2-square diamond around south, which is kind of a crap spread for a snipe unit, which was always kind of weird.
I mean,
well, I mean, they didn't really improve it that much. They gave him I don't know what you would even call this, because you can't really describe it with weapon types, but a slash range and then 1 row behind that. There you go. Slash range and 1 row.
I'd describe it as a 3x 2 in front.
Yeah, I guess you could do that too. But yeah, it's slightly longer range, and by longer, I mean it can reach the corners. Honestly, I mean, yes, it's objectively better, but I don't really think it's that useful. The only thing I could really think of is that, I mean, sure, it's going to be nice if he's on the front line. Now he can, charm up and dazzle up to 2 more units. And if you're trying to take advantage of his on-miss heal, he'll have more enemies to affect. But honestly, I don't really have that much to say about this. It's objectively an improvement, but again, he didn't need it.
Well, he didn't really need it even in the first place, but it's nice that he doesn't have to do any guesswork for the next phase, or if you actually use his dazzle, you don't have to move him around anymore. Just keep him in the middle every time before phase starts and during turn start, and he will always get all the squares that he would have to switch around before to get. So
I think the dazzle range is pretty okay-ish. After much deliberation, I thought, yeah, the extra range on dazzle is actually pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, and anyone in the back who he misses, I mean, they're not really going to do that much damage in first base, since they're going to be like shot or snipe with that penalty.
Sounds like you haven't been hit by an infernal worm.
Well, that's only if they move towards you, I guess. But yeah, it's a fairly straightforward Evo. You got some comment, Smoke?
Yeah, I was originally on the side that it was just a pretty shit Evo. I think there's also charm immunity, right? But
yeah, there's. I don't think it's a shit Evo. It's just that it's a simple Evo. Not much to talk about, but it is a good Evo.
I mean, you increased it by 2 squares. That's kind of shit, right?
It's 2 relevant squares, right?
Yeah, it's probably one of the most important squares, because those are usually the squares where enemies just come from.
Yeah, so I was originally on...
The rest will be charmed.
Because you can frame it as it's just 2 squares, but you can also frame it as this additional range completely removes the move work and gas work for Nekros to get the maximum range of his debuffs.
Yeah, so I was originally of that opinion, but after doing all these farming quests where the enemies are in weird places, and my Nekros is in the second row behind the front. I mean, in the row behind the front row. I kind of felt it's more helpful now, because you can get the front row slash range.
Well, I did discuss this the very first time we discussed about these units, but Nekros is designed to be a front line snipe unit, which is a weird archetype, but make it work,
he can't really do anything if he's a support though. He just shows up in the second row.
True.
He might get one person before, and now he can actually capture the whole row.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat for the farming quests. But yeah, I don't really think he needed this skill evolution, but it's neat. It's good to see my seeding efforts paying off.
Yeah, Irby is seeded both Soul and Nekros. I haven't really used the Soul for obvious reasons, but his Nekros has been a surprising...
Orgus.
Orgus doesn't exist.
So many people already have him seeded anyways. I don't need to seed him.
Yeah, a bunch of the one who always shares his red only.
I actually did want to seed him, but I mean, at the rate we're getting seeds and money, I'm not going to be able to seed him.
Yeah, we're gonna need a higher rate at this point. I mean, I have the coin, but it's
Just wait for Annie.
We'll see.
I'm
But
kind of annoyed that the whale friend in my list didn't get the AR, the Mori Orgus AR for him.
tell him to.
But he still has his level 70 unseated SA LV 100 Nekros Bacchus. Yeah.
No. That could have been me.
Tell him to pull better. Okay.
Yeah.
If that's it, then you can read out the comments, August.
Yay. I'm gonna guess that's supposed to be a Bacchus emoticon, skill evo. Break shows his chest to get a variant, while Nekros shows his tongue to get a remove charm debuff. Yeah. I guess the remove charm helps against reflect debuff. I don't know why that's there. Is this lore, Irby?
It probably is lore, but I don't really think it's that much lore, to be honest. But I think it is useful for the reflect debuff.
How come Soul's Evo name was translated, but Marcus's and Nekros's wasn't?
They were all translated.
They're
It's just
all
that the
translated,
wiki
it's wiki.
isn't. Yeah, the wiki's doing some weird thing where it's not updating properly.
I don't know how to fix it. to be
Some of
honest.
these
I
English
tried-
names aren't even accurate for them. They're like, I looked at them; they're actually different. This one is actually like Imbiber of Lust or something. I forgot, but instead it's named Lust Devourer because some random guy decided to manually call it Lust Devourer at one point in the wiki.
That's such a lust. I understand that the range of the charm, but the dazzle could have the pyramid range. What?
What?
I understand the range of the charm, but the dazzle could have the pyramid range.
They have the same ranges.
Just like
They're the same range.
I guess like they wanted the the big pyramid, the
You mean the Licho pyramid?
pyramid. Yeah.
Those are pretty
Which
rare.
I mean,
but
like,
they're good.
sure, I would love a bigger range, but
I mean,
It's like saying, this is, yeah, it's okay, but wouldn't it be better if Nekros just had all range for debuffs? Which, like, yes, obviously, but
I mean,
draw a line arbitrarily somewhere.
pyramid of
yeah. I mean, I was of that opinion with Soul's skill evolution too. So, yeah.
No
message
point in.
retracted. Well, whatever. At least the range is nice in horizontal quests. I guess I haven't done those yet, so true.
Yeah.
Nekros, I'm going to be snipe, but work better in the front row. I would almost say that it would be nice if he was shot instead, so he'd do a bit more damage, but then again, it also means he can just sit very far away and spam bind and stigma.
Yeah, it does. It is. I do find his snipe range to be very versatile, to be honest. At some point.
Yeah, I mean, even though he, like, inflicts his debuffs in the front, it's like, there are cases where you'll want to reposition. So, Nekros can still be useful if you decide to bury him to the back for whatever reason.
You only really need him on the front every 3 turns, anyways.
Yeah, and plus he's also useful for long distance if the enemy is also long distance with his countdown, as I put to use in a different video before. Yeah, he's very versatile, whether you put him in front or in the back.
I don't have the money to seed. I have a fund for seeding that will not be touched until someone actually comes out.
Get ready for Jacob. Alright, moving on to the next.
I wish I had his 5-star.
I'm sure.
Would actually seed him.
I'm sure you'll get the variant this
Okay.
summer.
Fingers crossed. Okay, we will now be talking about the last unit of the batch. Not the last unit, the last skill evolution of the batch. And this will be covered by Makosmo, if you will.
Okay, so this is the skill evolution for the hero. It's a pretty simple skill evolution, I think. It gives him plus 50 CP on the 4th turn of a phase at a 90% proc rate, and also gives him this sort of like a clutch crit on the turns afterwards, so turn 5 going beyond. So this crit doesn't overlap any of the other buffs that he got previously.
It's there just to
Because
give
of-
him extended utility past his, primary function of the first 4 turns.
Yeah, so you can kind of think of the crit beyond just being like a struggle crit. Like, it's an after buff 40% proc, so it's kind of low, but if you can stack off on enough buffs, it can be consistent, I guess. So what do I think about it? It's pretty good in the sense that it's much easier to get the turn 4 charge skill that is basically the intended part of his kit. So because of that, it's pretty suitable for tank strategies that you really couldn't have charged CP before. So I posted a video recently where I used Marcosius 3 with him on the challenge quest. I think that was kind of like a good example where if you at least have him like minimally engage with people, then you can get that turn 4 charge skill, which you couldn't do previously. Yeah.
My thoughts on it are bring him with what I like to call like a holy trinity unit. Primarily because what's it called of snow and his skill name of it, but also because it's a fairly common archetype despite it having a lot of things. And what I mean by that is a unit that can heal as well as bestow defense buffs as well as give CP. Believe it or not, those three are often combined together in a single unit, and that's why I call them the Holy Trinity for defensive tank strategies. And the reason why I would say that is because, well, for the first 4 turns, he's just going to be not killing as much people and taking a bunch of hits, so he'll want the defensive protection. In addition to that defensive protection, though, those buffs in themselves will trigger his damage buffs, so he'll have plenty of chances to actually, ramp up to his turn 4 wipe, and the extra CP will make up for the fact that he only gets 50 CP on turn 4, but he still needs that extra 50 CP elsewhere, and he can get that through both him hitting as well as that support Trinity unit. And that would build up to something that would be more regular to like an every 4 turn wipe, which is rather slow for nowadays, but it might have its uses for, if LifeWonders decides to release a challenge quest where the enemy is just immune to being defeated for the first 3 turns for whatever reason. And that's originally how Hero functioned before, but like now even more so that it's being doubled down on that 50 CP function. I would say you may also want to equip shooting stars or some sort of CS damage amplifier on him as well too, because he is more reliably now your board wiper that will have 4 different damage buffs: attack up, and vigor, and ardor, and crit plus on turn 4. Those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I had those in my notes.
I'm sorry for stealing them. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I was just saying, is he still talking?
You guys need to cut in. I'm just adding my own thoughts. I didn't mean to steal yours.
Actually, I really like 4Q5 with him, although that's pretty much a given. Because really, I usually test stuff on the Clash Outlaws quest, and debuffs like Darkness and Nullify buff, which come from Gyobu, are really annoying. So I kind of think that debuff prevention is pretty good for him, because there's a lot of ways to get really just not get your CS on him. So do I really think it's good? I think it's okay. His power hasn't really changed at all. None of it has affected his damage output. We're really in the current meta, so to speak. Nobody really wants to wait for an all range CS on turn 4, so I guess it's good if since it's a welfare, everybody has access to it. But most of the time people are just gonna comment later, usually Nankataga or whatever. So I don't know.
Kasuga, gross.
Yeah.
Imagine. But yeah, honestly, I think this is a pretty decent skill evolution. It fixes one of his major flaws on his kit, which was not being able to get his CS up and not being able to do anything post that turn, especially if you're using defensive strategies. Even if his damage is going to be pretty high, there's still a chance that you may still need him for other things.
He still has his other main issue is that if you clear the phase too early, then all of the timings get thrown out the window, which I find annoying. But yeah,
That too as well, but to be honest, that probably won't happen unless you're using an offensive-oriented team, or are you doing very easy quests, like the farming quest right now, which is really annoying to lose the buffs between phases. But yeah,
They could have fixed that by having like phase start remove all buffs from self.
wow,
Yeah.
But that would have to go before everything, so I don't think that would work unless they evoed the first skill.
I mean it's after buff, so it should be fine-ish.
it's
right?
also only on turn. So if it
yeah,
was
it would be
phase
fine.
start, so
Yeah.
it was phase start, that would go first.
I like recommend someone like Furufumi who can just give them arousal without even thinking, without having to move every turn.
Just use him with Kamui, like Milk said, so he can finally have his hero. There you go, the lore.
Amazing.
You could
Oh my
also
God.
use someone who gives limit, I guess, since it's one turn, and then you'll add another attack buff by the end. Oh yes. Also, here's your damage check. He'll do 165,741 damage if he has all 4 buffs. And he has SA 100.
He was
great.
definitely like he's a pretty cool wiping unit in terms of if you actually have the patience built up, because he's a welfare unit, so you'll have the full damage from his charge as well too, which is neat.
I would have appreciated having that for that one video I did with welfare units only.
Well, it's not too late. There might be another time like that in the future. And especially with Hero having this boost, now he can actually function without being quite as dependent on like someone giving massive CP. Like giving someone 100 CP over 4 turns would require a significant amount of CP considerations, but with an additional 50 CP from himself, not so much. So makes him functional without, having tested conditions.
I just, honestly, I enjoy that crit a lot because as I was using him before, he really is useless after turn 4. So being able to do something at least some of the time is like pretty useful. I don't like having dead units.
I feel
Yeah,
like
when you
if you're
find
going
cover.
past turn 4, you're just kind of like
Not
using
using
him
it as
wrong.
he should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like big
So,
money
like-
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
that's what
like his
happens with
damage
stuff
is like okay
welfares.
if he gets the crit. Like it's like 7.8k damage per square when he has crit by himself. But like it's just like, like if you're gonna go through the patience of like waiting until turn 4 and then doing the CS, because like when I was using him, I was just like,
Yeah,
why
that'd
am
be
I
really
doing
sad if
this?
you waited 4 turns and they're still alive. Like, that'd be sad.
I mean, it actually happened quite a bit when I was doing the video because Orgus has this like 32% adamantine proc, which is like really annoying.
just use
Just
soul.
use
36%.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, it's because I wanted to use him with only Marco because there's no CP charging from him. But yeah.
I actually haven't done any of these Evo quests yet. Like, it's like they're okay, but honestly, the units seem perfectly functional, without it for the drop quest. So I don't have the incentive right now.
I
Honestly,
mean, I did it because I need stones. Because I'm still in shambles.
Oh yeah.
no.
How many more videos of you trying to pull for single club, single bulls club will we see? I wonder.
I'm gonna not do poll videos for 3 months because I have to wait for Annie. Yeah.
Imagine next week announcement of the new event with Wakantanka 2 and Single Bulls Club on rate up again.
No.
Single bait.
Well, I probably have to spend my tickets at least because I can't use AR tickets on
Damn.
units that don't exist. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Any thoughts remaining, Irby, Selgus, Milk?
I don't know.
Make sure you max out his SA for this event because he'll probably never rerun.
Yeah, and I don't think he's actually going to get added to the Andvari shop.
You're saying he's never gonna appear again?
He probably will be available on the second event that they already confirmed.
And then after that, he's
No.
dead forever.
Who knows when that will happen? And it'll probably rerun. They'll probably rerun that event as well. But these are probably going to be your only chances to get him. To be honest, I don't think he's going to be added to the Andvari shop at all because collab unit. And since they made the ERs limited, I don't think they're going to make the unit not limited to the event.
True, that's a pretty good argument. If they've already made limited ARs, removed from the shop, there's no reason why they wouldn't make this guy never appear again from the shop either. Well,
I guess
if
the same thing is true for the 3-star AR too, right?
Yeah, although no one uses the 3-star, so who cares? You like heals or something? I don't even remember. But anyways, I think that's it for this unit, unless anyone has any additional thoughts. But if not, then you can read out the comments, Milk.
Okay. Where did we leave off? I don't have the money to seed. Okay. His skill Evo is like the pro tag once in a while, figuring out the big boss weakness slowly. Yeah. I kind of think of it as a struggle, sort of, like clutch sort of thing, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That's a good thought, since he gets the effects throughout the fight. Oh, I can kind of see that. Cthulhu is hand okay sign. Yeah. 32%. Either end with a 5 or a 0, please. LZ. Yeah, so I said 32%, but really it's like a 20 to 40% proc. But the level quest is like 80. So it's more like 36%. Yeah. LW. Okay, cool. Wakan has been over milked. Sure. Dead football. Hero after 4 turn, not real. He can't hurt you.
That's true. He can't hurt anyone.
Well, now he can. A bit.
Yeah, now
40%
you can.
of the time.
Sometimes, yeah. Summer Kamui. Watch it happen. Yeah. There's a chance for Q2 or Kimun, so I guess you can bet on that. Wakan isn't milk enough. Simp hero. Okay,
Me too.
that should be all
Me
the
too.
comments.
Alright. Then I think that is all the content. Yeah, next one is just that again. So let me pull up the end card, which is the same milk conspicuously, but it's too late for oh well. Thank you for joining us, everyone, for this discussion. We have now covered all the ARs and skill evolutions. Thoughts overall on this event, guys, for the F Kari reprint, as well as any upcoming event that might happen.
I am very happy for the second event of this, but I am also conflicted because this rerun takes 3 weeks. And I think it's a bit much, especially when I already cleared the shop.
You haven't wailed enough on the AR banner, Orby, obviously.
No! I need to save for Gordon.
I'm sure Gordon will reprint, but these ARs are one and done probably. We'll see. But
I'm pretty sure they'll rerun this AR banner whenever they do the collab event too.
maybe. I think that yeah, I'm excited for these the F Kari too. It's such an interesting thing. I know there's some other cute units from the the actual game it came from that we haven't seen yet, like Drum and Gander and all that. But I remember when F Kari. Well, you know, doesn't count. Hopefully he'll have.
Also in the Thor dungeon.
Oh, maybe we'll get Fafnir and we'll actually have obtainable burn for the player set this time.
I don't think so. Otherwise, Summer Shiva is going to destroy everything.
Well, let's hope. But yeah, I remember when F Kari original released. It was kind of funny because it wasn't like that during the year of the pandemic, or like they were slowing down. Essentially, LifeWonders at the time, but it didn't stop you from your wallet being destroyed, Herbie. You seem to like have a hard time with LifeWonders always releasing things you actually wanted. That's pretty funny.
Actually, not really. I think I had a worse time this year than last year, to be honest.
Really?
Yes. After F Curry, I didn't actually pull that much at all. That's outside Christmas.
Maybe I'm misremembering things, but I felt like at the time that no, it wasn't because of the new event. It was because there was a bunch of reprints too, and
oh yeah, the reprints. But
yeah,
that was before. Yeah, but after the F Curry event ended, 2020 ended until Christmas, so it was okay. Balance was restored.
Balance was restored in your wallet. All right.
This year there is no balance. The balance was destroyed forever.
Nothing for Gordon, I see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also kind of to the moon right now when it comes to how funny it is with how they still refuse to reprint Fashionista. I'm telling you, man, no one cares about that. Even though it's their biggest money maker.
Honestly, I think that it was actually important to run this event first, because of things that honestly happened in chapter 12, and I don't know.
Are you saying that F Curry is related to chapter 12 somehow?
You can make some connections, but I wouldn't say they're related. But also because there might be something in the next new event that might also prevent Fashionista from running right before that. I think that may or may not have some impact on it as well.
Well, okay. Any other thoughts from you guys, Irby, Saugus?
You were just talking to Irby.
Oh, I was waiting for you guys to jump in.
No, I mean, oh, never mind.
I don't really have many thoughts about this, other than that it's like a 3-week rerun, so I'm gonna go to sleep throughout most of it.
Yeah,
because I have to farm for flowers instead.
I've been like very slowly farming the usual stuff, but yeah. The event itself is, once it's not super exciting. Like I said, I wasn't pulling on the banners, but I'm fairly interested in where F Curry 2 will take us, and maybe we'll see Fashionista as well one day.
I think Fashionista will be like next month, almost sure, almost 100%.
Yeah, I'm more interested in like the future stuff they announced, like the event schedule, F Curry 2, the merchandise stuff.
Yeah.
What else is there to look forward to? I haven't gone through the story yet, but it's pretty good so far. I think it was interesting.
So I'm gonna start needing to catch up to the story, right?
I'll get around to that sometime.
I like
what else is there? Limited ARs are a scam.
Anniversary.
I don't really like any of them.
Oh right, I forgot to say, yeah, limited ARs suck. I hate this.
Yeah. Well, thankfully I don't like any of them on
Same.
the banner that are limited, but yeah.
Normally, like, oh my god, they're limited, I have to pull them. And that's true for units, so, because, you'll need them for, like, day quests and shit like that. But for these ARs, there's, like, zero incentive.
I need my PNGs.
Me or Morigal.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night without Soul looking at me, obviously. On that AR.
Somehow I believe that, sincerely, not even as a joke from you.
That AR actually kind of has a sad description. At least when I Google translated it. Might have something to do with the event, though.
Oh yeah, I need to prepare for that.
They are both two very sad people, so it's understandable.
Okay.
Which one?
The Soul Ryota one, I
Ryota.
guess.
Oh, that.
Yeah. The description is kind of sad at the end.
It might be spoilers, so don't read it out for now, since it might be related to the event. But speaking of, I completely forgot about this, but I guess I need to prepare for it now. Tomorrow and the day after, and maybe the day after that too, I'll be streaming the story for F Curry, so look forward to that. Same time, 3 p.m, just Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this time. And yeah, I guess that's it for our discussion. Thank you for joining us. If you have any feedback, leave it in the comments, and hopefully Milk has made a dazzling impression on everyone. Thank you for joining us, Milk, again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Well, with that said, let's say our goodbyes. On 3, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.